Nice. So I guess we're ready now. Hey guys. Oh, this has been a massive event. This is really good. Well, for you guys who don't know me, my name is Brigham Santos. I'm from Lama. I guess you recognize us from the bar right there, and for the amazing app we just built. So I'm going to be talking a little bit about the future of the NFTs. Obviously, you all know what an NFT is. Otherwise, you wouldn't be in this event. So I'm just going to skip this part where I explain a little bit about the NFTs. Nevertheless, something that I want to talk about is the vulnerabilities that you can face when you're dealing with NFTs, right? Obviously, the type of assets that you hold, right, and the level of the value of the assets that you have is like where you start thinking, okay, so how should I manage storing these funds, right? So let's say you're like starting with this crypto world, right? You bought your first NFT. It was like a nice piece of art. You pay like, I don't know, like 1 Ethereum, 2 Ethereums, right, just to get that NFT. It's really good. It's pretty nice for you, appealing. But then suddenly this NFT starts to grow in value, right? And then from a $2,000 margin, €2,000 value starts to go up to 200,000, right? 300,000. And then you're like, okay, so what should I do? I mean, because you have to keep in mind that you have to just keep your own private key. You have to just be safe. If you're using MetaMask, I mean, you just make sure that you don't get hacked with Google, right? So it's really hard. And based on the level of value that you hold, right, that's the same level of security that you have to implement. So for example, you're not walking around with 200,000 pounds on your pocket, right? I mean, it doesn't work like that. Most of the time you go to the bank, you try to store it, right? You try to put some safe on it, right? And even though we are into blockchain, we know the autonomous that you feel when you are dealing with blockchain transactions, right? I mean, you know that you're your own bank, you handle your own assets. Nevertheless, most of we don't have the expertise on how security works, right? And cybersecurity works. And hackers are incredible for this. So some of the things that you may encounter by protecting your own assets is that, well, it is not safe, right? Sometimes it's not easy to store the assets, right? It's sometimes a little bit complicated, right? And some other stuff that you can face is some NFTs that you hold might be fake. If you're not familiarized with the minting process, right, you may be buying some other NFTs that you don't recognize, right? So keeping this in mind, right, Lama has thought this through, right? How can we implement this and how we can create some other alternatives for clients, right? So you can have a little bit of background about Lama. We are very into the blockchain community, so we understand what we're going through. A little bit of my background story. I started like trading Bitcoin back in 2017. So my first transaction, it was just a Bitcoin wallet. I needed to download it into a Windows computer, try to install the wallet. I wasn't even aware there were like so many wallet addresses there. I didn't even know what to share, right? It was really hard. And for me, it was like super crazy. It was like super complicated, right? And that was back in the days. Nowadays, we have some other tools that you can use, right, to implement this. But some of the things that we're doing now, I mean, is trying to make it simple, but at the same time, as secure as possible, right, comparing to the assets that you hold, right? So there's some really good things about self-custody, and there's some really good things about centralized custody, right? And for self-custody, you have full autonomy, which, I mean, we all like, right? Exclusive access, because pretty much you're the only one who can access your assets, right? Nevertheless, it's somewhat challenging to operate. Well, you are going to be accountable for your own security, right? And believe me, I don't know if you guys have experienced that, but I got my assets stolen like when I was starting, right? So I have my account there, right? And somebody just hacked me and they just stole my wallet. Oh, okay. So until that point, you see like, oh my goodness, okay, so I have to start thinking like, what do I do? Like what sites I visit, right? I mean, whether this email is phishing or what do I do, right? I mean, that's when you start like realizing, okay, well, obviously there's a lot of people that are dedicating themselves to just do some of these things, right? I mean, to start hacking people, right? And well, it's a profitable business for them. I mean, otherwise they wouldn't be doing it. So things like that, and it's somewhat higher in management costs. I don't know if you remember, but back in 2021, If you wanted to do some DeFi, right, and do some staking, you were paying like around $200 just to fund gas. It was super expensive. If you wanted to get like an LP in Curve, for example, like $200 right there. So sometimes it's like, okay, better just leave it there instead of just converting the asset because it was going to be like really expensive. So things like that tend to change, right? Compared to the centralized partner where it's cost effective because pretty much they handle their own expenses when it comes to gas, they process it for you, right? But at the same time, it's about where you put your trust, right? So something that we were thinking, okay, so how can we put like a cold storage system for our clients, right? And this is when we just come up with a solution, okay? We can just do the opportunity for people to control their NFT assets and we can create our vault because so you can guys have a little bit of idea of who we are. We're a crypto bank and we provide Euro accounts, we provide GBP accounts, we also provide crypto services. You have Visa cards, you can just, well, in fact, I mean, every time I pick a taxi, like an Uber, I pay with a Visa card from Lama. So it's working perfectly fine. But at the same time, right, you have to rely on somewhat a third party and someone who knows and understands what the community wants, right? So what we came across is, okay, so how can we do this hybrid system, right? Like where we can show people to just have their own specific wallet that is stored in a cold storage, right, for them to handle, but at the same time, we provide the same level of security a bank system may have, right? And pretty much this is what we implemented, right? And we were trying to look for a really cheaper cost, like, so it's low transaction fees, right? Like really, really easy to use. I don't know if you have gone to the bar because if you go there, you have to download the app if you want to get a drink. If you have downloaded the app already, you will see that it's really easy to use. It's seamless. I mean, we're trying to make it as simple as possible so you guys can play with it, like have it like as a regular bank account, right? Nevertheless, of course, you're dealing with Bitcoin, you're dealing with crypto, I mean, and you're having NFTs as well. So something that we came across is, since we are partnering already with Ledger, right? Ledger Vault is the corporate side for businesses, right? So what we do is that every time that you receive an NFT, what we do is that we forward these instantaneously to a cold storage into the Ledger Vault. So even for us to do this transaction, we have like a certain level of security systems that is not really easy to hack. I mean, it is fine, and maybe it's not as important if you're just holding like $5, right? I mean, $5, $10 is not like a big deal. But when you're handling like really big assets, right, and if you're dedicating yourself to art, right, you have a business and you have grown your business and you have spent like a lot of money on this, right, it's just better just to keep it safe, right? It's just better just to plan ahead and just keep it secure for yourself. So what are we at? Like, since we are intuitive and we have gone through like several processes of certification so we can just keep the asset secure, right? I don't know if you are familiarized with PCI DSS certification, right? This is kind of like a standard if you want to deal with Visa cards, right? It is really hard. The infrastructure that you have to have in your system needs to be really high level. I mean, it's not a joke. It's really, really hard to obtain a certificate like this. We also certify ISO 27001, which is also really, really complex. That means that all of our processes that we're following, we're trying to just be as strictly as possible to just maintain the same level of security that you guys deserve, right? If you want to store NFTs or even if you want to store just regular assets, right? So if we're dealing with fiat, we keep fiat safe, right? But you already have that. You already have that with your banks. But we also have crypto safe, right? And we also keep NFT safe, right? And that's pretty much what you're looking for, right? And we feel that this is kind of like a gap that we have in the market, right? Something that you can store. At the same time, if you have tried the app and you move one of your NFTs, you will see that you see the picture. In some other apps, you just see the name. Now you can see the picture, so that's even better. In conclusion, pretty much. The future of NFT, I think, is more about the hybrid, right, in how we participate in this. Obviously, you can have your own control, right? But whether you store it in your wallet, right, like, I don't know, like a paper with your private key, that might be a different solution for you, or if you want to just keep it like in your drawer or under the bed, I mean, it's up to you, but depending on the value that you hold, you better try to think what is the type of security level that you want to implement for your assets, right? So that's what we're trying to do. I invite you to download the app to test it out, right? It's been really good. At the very beginning, we started like maybe with 100, 200 users, and then suddenly just skyrocketed until now that we're nearly reaching 40,000 users. So it's been quite a ride. Very good. Well, that's us. Thank you very much. I don't know if you have any questions. Well, you have access to the custody of it, but just through the app, right? So yeah, so pretty much what we do is that the hybrid custody is between Ledger and Llama, right? And you have access directly to, like we create a specialized address just for you, right? So it's just connected in between, right? So it's kind of like like a tripod here between you, Llama, and Ledger. That's a very good question. Any other question? Yeah, in fact, we created a separate smart contract address just for that. Like so anything that is related to NFT is a separate contract that is operated directly. Like as of now, within the Ethereum network, and we're implementing some other blockchains right now. So we are implementing Solana, we're implementing Polygon, but it's just in between that, right? We have our own other smart contracts that are handling specifically for ERC20 tokens, Ethereum transactions, right? But it's separate from that. So we leave NFTs apart, right? We created kind of like that ecosystem specifically for that. No. Right now is just if you have like Ethereum costs, right? Pretty much you pay like around three euros just to just withdraw it. That's good. Any other questions? No. No. It's good then. Thank you very much. Enjoy the conference.